Welcome once again, Marky Marks, to another RAWCAST. My name is Blake Carter, and I am joined, as always, by awesome Will Rawson. How you doing, sir?
I am doing really good, man. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We're going to do something a little different today. Will had proposed a new thing he would like to do, so we're going to get kicked off with that. Then we're going to talk a little bit about Extreme Rules and some other goings and comings in the world of wrestling. Hezekiah, I love you being a part of the podcast, but it's not going to work. Thank you. All right, so we're going to get started now. Will has the NXT wrap-up now. You said you want to do it in a certain timed fashion. What's the time? What am I setting the timer for?
I'm thinking about 30 seconds. They'll be done in less than 30 seconds.
Less than 30 seconds, you say?
Mm-hmm.
Says the podcast that since then we're on for an hour. Okay, so we'll start the countdown. Let me know when you're ready for your graphics. Go.
I am ready to go. Well, this week in NXT is one of their first big ones coming back after WrestleMania. We had Finn Balor, of course, winning. Easy match for him. Afterwards, though, we had a little confrontation with Tyler Breeze on the Titantron, trying to instigate maybe a new feud coming up. We're going to see where that goes. Tyler Breeze, the Prince Pretty himself, just kind of threw out a little challenge. Nothing much came out of it. After that, we had another fantastic women's division match, a three-way between Flair, Bayley, and Lynch to determine the number one contender for the championship against Sasha Banks. Great match again. Flair had the figure 8, as she calls it. It's a little higher arched version of the figure 4, but Lynch cleverly snuck in there and pinned Bayley while she was distracted in the hold. Lynch becomes the new number one contender. Great match. After that, we had Hideo sending CJ Parker home. It was his probably last match since he was released a couple of weeks ago. So, bye-bye, CJ. Hideo is going to send him packing in a very easy squash match for him. Wasn't a big deal. And then after that, we had a little segment backstage. It was Carmella getting wooed by the Blake and Murphy boys. They were back there. They gave her a little bit of jewelry, which, of course, her little Guido boys came up and said, hey, that's just cheap. It comes from the mall. She wore it anyways, and they were a little frustrated that she was still wearing the jewelry. So are we going to see Carmella switch sides here pretty soon? I think so. After that, we had Rhino killing another basically unknown NXT rookie. We don't know much about him, but Rhino killed him. Very short match. He killed him. After that, though, it was the main event. Alex Riley on his big return. He's looking better than ever. He was really pumped up. Really, right now, he is my number one star on the NXT circuit. It was a great match, but unfortunately, Kevin Owens got the best of him, and he started to destroy him after the match was over. But luckily, Mr. Sami Zayn came to the rescue, making a big splash off the top ropes. It was a pretty cool spot to end the show. It sent Kevin Owens running backstage like a coward, and that was this week's NXT Rundown.
There you go. Congratulations. Though it took you 2 minutes, but still, that was awesome. You did a good job.
Maybe I'll shoot for 1 minute next time.
Well, that's what I put the timer on, is 1 minute. So when you heard that blip, 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 that was it. But you did really good. I really enjoyed NXT this week. I like any time that Breeze calls himself Prince Pretty. That makes me happy. When it comes to Becky Lynch being the number one women's contender, that's exciting. It's something new. So I'm excited for that. I always feel sorry for poor Miss Bayley, but when she gets her matches, they're worth it. Were you disappointed?
Bayley's been, I mean, she's one of the originals, kind of as I see it, the original women there, and she's still there. They kind of tweaked her little character a little bit, where they made her more aggressive in the ring. It's really paying off. I thought they were maybe going to give it to her as a big surprise, but unfortunately it did go to Becky Lynch, which I'm happy with too. Flair's on a bit of a losing streak here lately, but we're not surprised because she's probably going to make her move to the main roster here very shortly. But congrats to Becky Lynch, and I'm sure Bayley's time's going to be coming up here pretty soon.
Yeah, and I agree with the Flair, because that's kind of what happened with Neville, right? He lost over and over, and now we have him on Raw, and he does awesome.
And he's amazing.
Yeah, and I think that's what we're going to have with Flair, I hope. Unless they feel like she needs some more tune-up. I really don't, but we'll see. I really like this version of Alex Riley. I really do.
Yes.
He has like this kind of this angry vet that didn't quite make it to the top, but still knows how things are. And he is good. And
he's got a lot of emotion. It's amazing. He gets the crowd pumped. You can see the emotion in him. You can tell it's not all fake. He is really wanting to be there, and he's ready to prove something right now.
He really is, and my only problem with him when he first broke away from Miz is he was very much like Mojo Riley is now. Just fast all the time, didn't know how to slow down. And, I mean, yeah, Riley still has that fast movement, but he's better at pacing. And you're right, his emotions are the best. So, gosh, I like
the signs in the crowd that say "Rage, Riley, Rage."
Yeah, you know. I mean, it's a nice play on Owens or Steen or whatever you want to call him. But I'm okay if Alex always stays NXT because they obviously didn't know how to use him up top. And he still gives you that veteran's appearance without being a washed-up superstar.
Right. I want to add, I forgot to mention this, during the women's three-way match, there was another really good, I love the NXT crowd. There was a really good chant in the crowd saying, "Better than Divas."
Yeah, it is.
It was really funny, and it's so true. The women's division, they're not divas, they are women, and they are fighting and putting on good shows. They're definitely better than Divas.
Yeah, I would agree. Hezekiah, that's enough, buddy. Hey, thank you. We're talking about women wrestlers. Thank you. So, well, I mean, you're even seeing that in Raw, right? You're seeing during a women's match, they're shouting for NXT.
Right.
And you're starting to see that more, too. And eventually someone's going to pick up on that. But we're going to move on into the main roster now and talk about Extreme Rules. And I just wanted to point something out before we got any farther. Did you see the Extreme Rules logo for this year, or the poster for this year?
The little John Cena Braveheart thing? Yes.
Okay, this is the first thing that popped in my head when I saw this, and you saw Braveheart. See, I didn't see that. I saw this.
Ah, nice.
It's like that's where my brain went on this one. I don't know where they're going with this because we know Cena's never gonna probably come out in paint. I guess they just want to show him as the U.S. champ. And we'll talk a little bit more about this, but I thought this was one of the goofiest posters they've done in a while. Okay, we'll start off with the kickoff. We got Kid Cesaro versus New Day. Who do you got, my friend?
Oh, man. I mean, New Day's kind of changed up a little bit. I think they realized the crowd is not behind them. They've been playing a little dirty here lately. We saw on Raw, of course, Xavier Woods hiding under the ring and grabbing the opponent by the ankles, making them lose by countout. So they're playing dirty now. Now we got 3 black cheaters making up the New Day. I don't think they're going to win the match, but it's definitely a new day, and I think it's going to go to Kid and Cesaro retaining the belts.
I would agree with that. For me, it's been really funny. For me, Xavier Woods has really been making me laugh, not just because of the ankle grab. There was several times when they'd land out at the outside of the ring during Raw, and Xavier would go, "I'm not in this! I'm not in this!" Which it just cracked me up. I'm enjoying New Day a lot more now. Maybe it's because I'm older and I prefer heels to faces anymore. But for the most part, for me, this is a good turn for them. And if they evolve it, that's great. But, this may be a short-lived thing because we keep seeing things with the primetime players, and I don't know if they're building them up to possibly go after the championship. We'll have to see. Right. We really will. But as long as it's not the Matadors, then I'm good. Okay, moving on into the Divas, not NXT. It's Nicholas. Is that? Wow, I always forget their real names because they go by something else in Total Divas.
It's Naomi. Nikki and Naomi.
Naomi, yeah. Naomi, Mrs. Uso, whatever you want to call her. Who do you got?
Well, this match kind of came out of nowhere because with Paige leaving, I think it was originally supposed to be Paige. I think that Nikki's going to retain this. I know that originally a few months ago they wanted to put the belt on Naomi. I don't know what exactly happened, but they didn't go down that road. So I wouldn't be surprised necessarily if Naomi did get this belt, but I think they're planning on Paige to win it back off of Nikki. But we'll see. I'm going to say Nikki's going to retain this time.
I would too. I think they're setting up for Paige. At this point, now that AJ's gone, Paige is about the only logical choice as a face. Because I don't know if you'd necessarily call Naomi a face now. She's kind of a little dirty too, which is, I don't know if that fits her character or not, but I'm gonna go with a Bella as well. Now here's a question, not a match, but with Daniel Bryan's health, we've heard so much more about this as the weeks have progressed. Do you think we'll see this match at all?
I think it's going to happen. Whether it's going to be a great match, if he's up to 100%, I don't know. But I think it will happen. And they took him off of the last part of the UK European tour over there. Due to who knows what, they haven't really said. They just said just lingering injuries. There was reports of concussion possibly. Also, that his injury from last year wasn't all the way healed up. It keeps changing, but there is something definitely going on. They're keeping him safe. I think they've let him rest for a couple weeks now. I think he'll be ready to go this Sunday. Will it be a great match? I don't know. But I think it will happen. And if it does, I think Barrett might actually take the belt back.
I think if the match happens, I'd give it to Wade. And the only reason I would is because there's so many other people that can elevate that belt. And I worry about Daniel Bryan's future. I really do. I don't know how much longer we have him. He did a lot of risky stuff in the Indies to kind of get him to where he is now. And I think his body's starting to show it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I think we've got him.
I don't want that to be the case.
In the condition he's in now, if it doesn't get better, I'm guessing within 2 to 3 years he's going to permanently be done. Unless some kind of miraculous thing happens and he gets way better, we might see another title run or two from him. I'm talking like the main title. But if it doesn't get better, I see him no more than 3 years. He'll be permanently done with his in-ring career.
Well, I would agree with that, except for the point that I feel like WWE's a little bit more cautious anymore. Maybe that 3 to 4 years could be more like 1 to 2. Back in the day, they were kind of like, well, you know your own body, you figure it out. But anymore, it's kind of like, well, if the doctor's worried, maybe we should stop. So I'm always worried about Daniel Bryan. I'm a big fan of him. I didn't really get to know him a whole lot in the indie scene. Unfortunately, I wasn't that much into the indies at that point. But I've really enjoyed getting to know him in WWE. I wish him great health, and I hope that maybe we get to see more of him. We'll have to see. But if the health rumors are any truth at all, I would give it to Wade as well. Moving on to the Ambrose match. versus Luke. What do you think?
Well, this is Extreme Rules, and pretty much this is the only Extreme Rules match we have other than the cage match. This is the Chicago Street Fight, as they're calling it, between the two. I'm a fan of Luke Harper. He still has some work to do, but he's the next, as far as their bigger size superstars go, he's the one that has the most talent, and I think they're going to be sticking with him for future runs for a while. I want to see Dean Ambrose get this one. We still have not seen that win come from him in any of the pay-per-views. I think he really, really, really needs to get this win. This is his match. Of course, it's Luke Harper's kind of match too, but this is what makes Dean Ambrose Dean Ambrose. These kind of fights, he has to win this match.
He does. Speaking of Luke, though, he's getting better. His promo on Raw, actually pretty good. I also liked his jacket that had Dean's logo crossed out, our Truth's logo crossed out, everybody that he threw down in the ladder match. So I thought that was really neat and a really awesome way to do this. That being said, Dean needs to win this match, or at least look super strong, because we're coming in Chicago, and it doesn't matter how many months it's been. This is a Punk crowd, and Dean is probably the closest thing to a hero to this Chicago crowd. Granted, he's not from this area, but they're latch on to Dean. And they need to make Chicago happy. They really do. It just needs to be said. I would give this one to Ambrose as well. I'm giving it to Harper, but good grief, are we never going to let Dean win a pay-per-view? It's a little ridiculous by now. Moving on now to Big Show and Roman Reigns, the one match I could care the less about.
I fell asleep while you were talking about it.
See? Exactly. It's okay. I understood the taxi and everything else.
Right.
I'm waiting for you. There you are.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I understand the taxi, but I thought what we were going to do is give Roman a little bit of a break.
Yeah. I didn't.
But apparently not.
I was expecting him to not necessarily. I was expecting him to be in a match, but not with Big Show necessarily. And to make it worse, they make it a last man standing match. So, I mean, it's just, two big guys falling over and then taking 9.5 seconds to get up for probably at least 10 to 15 minutes. And it's a snooze fest. It's all, I don't know, they're in Chicago. The Chicago crowd's going to eat this up because a lot of people tend to boo Big Show matches now anyways. Chicago's probably going to rip up Roman because they don't like him. They're asking for a world of trouble with this match. I don't know why they made this. Roman's going to get it. He should anyways. If he loses, then wow, it's going to make him look really weak. So I don't imagine him losing. Roman will get the win, but this is definitely going to be a snoozer, just barely better than the Divas match.
I agree. And if I was WWE, I would have let the taxi attack keep Roman out for a couple weeks.
Yeah. And
maybe him come out during Big Show's match and maybe beat him up a little bit. But they've been doing decent with putting Roman with opponents where he has to be fast to make it a nice, exciting match. To put him with the slowest guy in the locker room, where Big Show's the general because he's the veteran, he's going to set the pace. This is going to be the dumbest and most boring match of the entire card. It is not going to help his credibility by winning or losing. It's just trying to give us more Roman Reigns when we don't necessarily want it. It's a bad decision. This is what I'm most disappointed about even being on the card, but so be it. That's what we get. So to try to make us feel better, what does WWE give us? They give us a Kiss Me Arse match versus Sheamus and Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah. So we're gonna see either a really, really bright white ass or a very, very burnt orange ass. And again, the Stroud crowd are probably gonna be cheering on Dolph Ziggler because Ziggler is a hero, but Sheamus, I don't know. They're gonna hear a lot of anti-Sheamus chants through this whole thing, and I don't know what to say from this. Someone's getting their arse kissed, and who cares? I don't know. I don't know who's gonna win this one, to be honest.
I thought we'd finally move past this. We hadn't seen the Vince Kiss My Ass Club for a long time. But when I heard this match, my first thought went to, I don't know if you remember this match or not, but the Jerry the King Lawler versus Bret Hart Kiss My Foot match. Mm-hmm. Yeah, where he soaked his foot in manure and all that stuff. That was what I was hoping that we would have on SmackDown this week. Sheamus, just putting his ass in nasty places. But this is a ridiculous kind of thing. And will they have the kiss happen on paper or Raw?
I think it'll happen on the pay-per-view. I really do. I'd like to see Ziggler win this one. I don't know. I really don't. This is one where I don't know who's going to win, to be honest. This is the toughest match of the night.
I agree. It's a weird match. I'd
like to see Ziggler win just because
I don't know who they're trying to be.
The whole Sheamus saying, where's all the real men at? And then it'd be funny seeing that real Macho Man have to get down and kiss somebody else, other man's butt. Arse.
I agree. Arse. And, I don't know if you've seen the in-person and Sheamus where he's like, I don't care what happens, someone's kissing me ass. It's like, okay, kissing me? All right, whatever. But they're really trying to go for Irish here. I don't know who they're trying to build. Traditionally, Dolph is the buildee, I don't know. So, I give this one to Sheamus, personally. And I don't know if this is going to make a string of Kiss Me Arse matches. I have no idea. We'll have to see. That'd be really funny. Because then he can be the new ass man, and he can wear Billy Gunn's old trunks.
Right.
But we'll have to see. Okay. And then we go into Mr. Wannabe Sting himself versus Rusev in a Russian chain match for the United States Championship. Will, help me out here. What do you think?
The concept of this I think these are horrible matches. Any kind of rope type match or four corners match, they're really dumb. I don't like those matches personally. The last one we saw was Sheamus, right? He did one. I can't remember. Was it with Mark Henry?
Yes,
I think it was.
Exactly.
It was kind of boring, but whatever. Cena's going to get this win. I don't think Lana's going to be returning anytime soon. So I think Cena's getting this win. And it's probably going to be another snooze fest because they're just dragging each other around, trying to encompass. It's kind of like the Big Show and Reigns. They want to hurt the other guy so they stay down for a while because you have to drag them around with that damn chain. And this is going to be another slow-moving, big move, slow match kind of match that Cena is going to win. We're going to finally see the U.S. American flag drop down and reign over Rusev. I think there's no question Cena's got this one, but it's going to be another boring match.
It's going to be another boring match, and it's just a WrestleMania rehash. Back in the day, for some of our younger fans that may not know, they used to have a pay-per-view after WrestleMania, just basically called Revenge. And most of it was just rehashes of what you'd seen the month before. And that's what this match is. It's not the entire pay-per-view, but that's what this one is. This one is just to put Cena over one more time, and then we're probably going to get another string of the U.S. challenge every night on Raw for probably another month.
And I think that's where he's going to lose it. I think he's going to lose it to a very surprising person on a Raw when he does the U.S. Open Challenge, and I think some unexpected guy is going to get the win back there.
I'm really, really hoping for an NXT guy. Not that they don't have enough undercard guys they need to probably elevate, but I'm really kind of hoping for them.
Balor maybe sometime, or maybe Neville, since he's already
Neville?
there?
Yes, I could see it. I could see a Neville win. That'd be great, as long as he gets rid of the damn purple. But we've talked about that before. That would be good. If Owens was to lose the belt, I would love to see Owens come out there and for the U.S. champ, but I don't know how long this U.S. challenge is going to go. And that tells you how exciting this match tomorrow is really going to be if Will and I are already talking about the next 2 to 3 weeks of Raw. Like that should be any indication. Also, for you that don't know, Will makes our graphics here during the RAWCAST. But what was really funny this week is the one graphic he forgot was the WWE Championship match. Nice. So I had to make this one. So maybe that's an indication of how excited Will is for this match. I'm not sure.
Oh man. Well, I think it was my reasoning was because I sent it before and I just completely forgot that it was in a different file, so I don't know. But I'm somewhat excited for it. It's a cage match with Kane as Guardian of the Galaxy, Gate. And he's so Kane's kind of being himself again, or he's slowly starting to turn, but the Authority's holding him down. But I think we're getting the return of, a face Kane or just the Demon Kane, whatever you want to call him. No more Authority, because I think this is his last good year or so as being an in-ring performer. But Kane's guarding the gate, not letting anyone in or out, so I'm guessing that means you're going to have to crawl from over the top to win this match.
Or a pin or a submission.
Or pin or submission, but definitely no one's going to be walking out that door, which I always thought was dumb anyways, because I think that was way too easy.
I did too, but I think pinning or submission is stupid in a cage match.
Yeah, I think you have to crawl out, either through the door or over the top, which I think the door is stupid because it seems too easy. Crawling over the top should be the only way to win a cage match. So I'm hoping we see that. But we got Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins, and of course you're going to have J&J Security probably at ringside trying their best to get past Kane. So that could be in for some more entertainment for us to laugh at. But I think Seth Rollins retains.
But no RKO.
No RKO. Oh, yes, I forgot. The RKO is banned, as well as the curb stomp.
Yeah, the curb stomp is banned, but the curb stomp isn't story. And that's something we really haven't talked about here. And this is not the first move that they have banned due to the violence, and they think it could cause concussions or cause danger. They also banned the punt. For years, they've kind of brought it back, though he doesn't quite kick anymore. It's a camera cut, and the few times that he actually almost does it, something happens and Randy can't do the punt. It's mostly a punt tease, if you will. So, borrowing from Dusty, if you will. But what do we get from Seth as a finisher? If it's anything, according to Raw, it looks like a regular DDT.
Yeah, it's just like the reversed Dean Ambrose, dirty deeds. It's the reverse of that, basically.
and it looks ridiculous. We were talking to our wrestling group, and they were really disappointed because they were naming all the finishers that Seth used to have when he was in the Indies, and they were naming all the stuff he could do, and then they give him this hokey pokey DDT.
I mean, the DDT finisher was cool back in the late 80s. You know, it worked for a few superstars, but today everybody kicks out of DDTs. Why make one a finisher? I understand that, you know, Sting still has, you know, the Scorpion Death Drop, but I mean, that was his finisher, one of his finishers back when he was, you know, a big superstar. But today's generation, DDTs, they're just a normal maneuver that every superstar has in their arsenal.
It's true. They do. It's getting a little redundant at this point. It's kind of overdone. For about till about 2005, I think, it wasn't really done as much. But now it's all the time. We see any kind of DDTs. Now we're getting to the point where John Cena gets to do a stunner off a middle rope. You know, like, it's just getting a tad bit silly. I do like moves where they kind of come out of nowhere, but if this is what we're sticking with Seth, this is a little ridiculous. But to go back to the match, I think Seth probably retains too. Though with Kane, I don't think we're ever going to see Demon Kane again. We may see a mask, but if they do anything, they're going to call him Monster Kane. And here's my reasoning: is they're calling Balor the Demon now.
All right.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like even on hashtags and stuff, they're saying, "What does the Demon listen to get pumped up?" You know, it's. I think Kane has lost the Demon. He could be the Big Red Machine again, which that was always kind of a goofy thing. But only Jim Ross could pull that off. Oh my God, it's the Big Red Machine! Overall, where do you think, out of 5 stars, where do you think this pay-per-view is probably going to land?
Oh, man. I mean, it's the pay-per-view after WrestleMania, which tend not to be really ever be good. It's just going to be that average, slightly below average pay-per-view, so it's just going to be like, out of 5, I'd say like 2.5.
I'd probably agree with you. I would probably agree with you. I wanted to give it a 3, but I don't think it's going to quite make it. But it'll be fun to watch just for the humor, how Chicago crowd's going to make it great. Even if it's sucky, they're going to make it funny, one way or the other. And we won't have Booker T on commentary. We'll have Jerry the King Lawler once again. So that'll always make it good. And I am sure Michael Cole's going to bring up the Kiss My Foot match. I'm sure of it. No.
And are we? I mean, I know he's banned until who knows when, but when is Brock Lesnar going to start returning? As well as, are we ever going to see a Sting show up again? We haven't seen them pretty much since WrestleMania week. Are we going to see any kind of hints of Paul Heyman or anything at Chicago?
At Chicago, no. My prediction is we see Brock right before SummerSlam. My prediction for Sting is not until almost Royal Rumble.
All right.
That would be my prediction. Because if they're going to give Sting Undertaker, which I don't know if they ever will, but if they were going to, Royal Rumble or the week before, the week after would be the perfect time for that. Brock, if they made his contract as sweet as he seemed to make it out to be on, was it ESPN? Was that who he was talking to?
Yeah.
Okay. So it sounded like they offered him more money for pretty much the same dates. So if we're to go by that, then we're only going to see him on the Big Four. That's all I think.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. I hope we see him sooner than SummerSlam, but I mean they've been keeping their mouths shut about that, almost as if they've forgotten it already. And also, what I was finding interesting with Kane's storyline, Triple H seemed to be kind of going in a more face direction. If you notice on the last Raw, especially, he was basically saying to Seth Rollins, "Yeah, Kane might have a point. You know, you need to prove that you are worthy of that belt and being on top." And he was kind of supporting Kane's theories in a way, and kind of it was a very different Triple H to me. So I'm finding that a little interesting. I don't know where we don't see much of the Authority anymore, other than Seth Rollins with J&J Security. You don't really see Triple H and Stephanie full on supporting him anymore.
You don't, and also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we even saw Stephanie on Raw. And it usually, if they want to make Triple H face, in the past, they phase out Stephanie for a while. And maybe that's where we're going. Maybe
Stephanie is Jericho's next podcast interview on the network.
Oh, good grief. Well, that's where they should have went before, instead of John Cena. But
so she'll be coming up here soon, and she's going to be on another podcast there with Jericho on the network, so that'll be interesting to see where they go with that.
I love Chris Jericho. I really do. He's one of my favorites. But when it comes to podcasting of former wrestlers, stick with Steve. Honestly, stick with Steve. Like that's where my heart is at, because Stone Cold has no problem asking anything. And Jericho still kind of has a job with these people. You know, he, and I don't blame him, because if I was in his position, I'd be kind of politically correct too. But it's kind of boring to watch. Because with Steve, you don't know what you're going to get. He's probably going to cuss a whole bunch. You know, the riskiest Jericho ever gets on his podcast is occasionally his guest is a porn star. Like, for the most part, that's all we ever get from Chris. So I am not really looking forward to that. Though, before we go, something that makes us both happy, how do you feel about Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling on the WWE Network?
I mean, I knew they were putting it on there, and I left it on. I put the network on for my dogs while I left to go to a school event the other day, and then I came back home, and on the TV, the Hulk Hogan's Rockin' Wrestling was on. I just died out laughing. I actually finished that episode. They were having like a little race, a little buggy race. It was just the funniest thing in the world. I'm happy about it. It's pretty cool. It's a little nostalgia for me, and I'll probably watch a couple more episodes, you know, while it's still on there. But it's awesome.
Oh, I love it. One, because it's who we grew up with, and two, it's not any of their voices. Like, you know, like
they all have ridiculous voices.
Hulk Hogan isn't even close to what he sounded like back then, at least. It's ridiculous. One of my favorite episodes growing up as a kid, and it's one of my childhood memories I still remember, is the good guys with Hulk Hogan have to go clean Mean Gene's house, and they go to this mansion and they're trying to clean it, and the bad guys come and they trash it all up, and lo and behold, like, the house falls apart, and then you find out that wasn't even Mean Gene's house, and he lives in like an apartment. So that was as a kid, I love that one because it was just so stupid. I'm very happy that they're like, you know what, we own the rights to this, why don't we put it out? Yeah. Speaking of network things, they are putting out the DVDs of the Monday Night Wars, and they're including 6 more hours. Matches, new interviews, and Sting's doing interviews for them too, which it could excite some of our fans. For me, I watched through 20 weeks of basically the same first 8 minutes before they changed, into whatever topic they were talking about. And it was the same thing over and over, and we're going to show DX attacking WCW every single week.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to show Mike Tyson almost every single week. We're going to show, what is her name? Medusa drop the belt every single week. It got a little too much for me. Yeah. But for anybody else that's interested in that, that should be coming out here shortly.
One more network plug. They're going to be doing Mick Foley's special on there. He announced that last night. I think it's going to be on there a week from either yesterday or a week from today. But he did one of his little comedy special down there at Full Sail University, down where NXT is filmed. He did a special there. JR was part of it, so JR might even make the cut on network. Depends on what they edited out or whatever. I don't really know too much about it, but it was a big event from Mick Foley, and it's going to be on the network as a special next week.
Which I'm really excited about. Though I wish they would have filmed one of his nights in Chicago at the clubs he's been there. Yeah. Just because it kind of would have been a different atmosphere, not all wrestling people, and maybe some drunkards, and I think that would have been kind of fun.
Yeah.
And JR has been a part of most of his shows, along with Colt Cabana. But we know we'll never see Colt Cabana on the WWE Network. And we're probably, I don't know how often we'll actually ever see JR outside of pre-recorded interviews, since WWE seems to not like him as much either. Because that's who they could have went with for podcasts instead of Jericho. Yeah. Definitely could have went with JR.
But it is only $9.99, so, and I think it's worth it. The network's getting better. They're getting more, programming on there. Looks like a big year for them. My money's well spent. I watch it 3 or 4 times a week for a couple hours at a time. It's awesome. If you don't believe me, just try it out. It's awesome stuff. They got tons of stuff on there from old matches, and now they got all this new programming coming on there. And you get all the damn pay-per-views like this Sunday's 2.5-star Extreme Rules pay-per-view.
And we wish we were sponsored by the network. Network, we're here. We average 40 viewers an episode. But we thank you all for watching. Will, say your goodbyes, my friend.
It's by CM Punk, and he's saying goodbye.
Hey, that's good. All right, guys. Well, we'll see you later.